Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to part 2 of making an art series. I really hoped that this video would be me taking you behind the scenes as I shoot the first image in this series, but sadly that is not the case. It has taken me this long to decide on an outfit for this series. I've considered a long flowy dress, a short flowy dress, a skirt and vest combo a la Jo March, and even suspenders and pants. But these outfits just didn't feel right for this story that I'm trying to tell. I knew that I wanted something that felt nostalgic and reminded me of childhood, and once I realized that, the answer was simple: overalls. So I went shopping, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked. But then I did, but they were out of stock with no plans to restock. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to make them myself. So that's exactly what this video is. Me struggling, cussing, and slightly regretting my decision to make these from scratch. Let's get down to business. I went searching on the interwebs for a pattern and found one I liked by Fiber Mood. I'm going to be making some minor adjustments to the straps because I don't like this back piece. I'll extend the straps to crisscross over at the back and button up at the top of the pant. I then ordered some fabric, waited impatiently for it to arrive, washed it and hung it out to dry. Okay, so it has been like a year since I used my sewing machine and all memories of how to use this thing has gone bye-bye. But fear not, I still have faith. I have a set of instructions, I have fabric, and I have a pattern. What can possibly go wrong? I started by rolling out the pattern, spent an hour questioning my decision, then started hacking away at the paper. After cutting out all the pattern pieces, I decided that was enough physical torture for one day, then proceeded to lay in a horizontal position for the rest of the evening. The next day, I got back into it. Yes, wearing the exact same clothes, but a fresh pair of undies. I struggled for a good half hour trying to get the fabric to lay lovely and flat before realizing I really ought to iron it first. After that debacle, I then started pinning the pattern pieces to the fabric, and within a few minutes, this happened. First pinprick of the day, bleeding. After washing away that tiny pool of blood, I continued the tedious task of pinning for quite some time, only to realise after the fact the layout wasn't exactly saving me fabric. So I unpinned a lot while crying inside and repinned it in a way that would save me more fabric I may or may not use in future projects. Like very future projects. And there you have it, I've completed a step in this wonderfully brutal process. Finishing one task gave me the courage to complete another, the cutting of the fabric. As per the instructions, it requested I leave a 1 cm seam allowance unless stated otherwise. Of course, me being me, I just eyeballed it and probably ended up with an extra centimetre or two. But oh well, what's a bit of extra seamage, right? I gave myself a good pat on the back and celebrated my progress before realising the mess I'd made. I'll be finding red fluff on myself, the furniture and the ground floor at least the next month. It's now time to sew, but before I do, I need to learn how to use my sewing machine again. I found the instruction video on YouTube and pressed play.
Only use the bobbin that has been designed for this sewing machine. Use of bobbins from older models may cause injury or damage to the machine.
After completing that incredibly ancient instruction video, it was time to sew. As eager as I was to get started, I knew it would be smart to do some test stitches on a scrap piece of the fabric first. I then powered back on the machine and away I went. Just look at me go! First row of stitches complete, so far so good. But little did I know, a mistake was imminent and it appeared in the way of faulty stitching. It wasn't me, it was the machine, I swear. So I sat there for an age unpicking faulty stitches, and then I put my big girl pants back on and tried again. I finally made it to step 1B on the instruction sheet, attaching buttons. So that's exactly what I did. I tried banging them in with scissors, but quickly realised I'd need to call in the big guns. And now I have 2 whole buttons. That is what I call progress. After the excitement of my buttoning skills subsided, I moved on to sewing the breast pocket. I have finished the front part of the overalls and I actually am amazed at myself. I can't believe how well they've turned out. If you zoom in closely, you can see that the stitching is quite wonky, but honestly, no one's going to notice that from afar. All in all, I am very, very impressed. Ooh, good morning, everyone. I am very excited for today because I am planning on finishing off these overalls. I have the pants to do, then I have to do the straps, and then I just have to put it all together. So, without further ado, let's do it. I started today's sewing adventure with pinning the pocket inserts onto the lining and cutting out the pattern. It was then time to attach the lining to the material of the pants.
Much later.
I am feeling so frustrated and defeated right now. I've been working all day on this for hours, and honestly, I've been trying to do these stupid buttonholes, and they are getting the better of me. I don't understand how to do them. I have a buttonhole footer for my sewing machine, and for whatever reason, it's just the fabric's not moving. I'm so new to this. I've never done a buttonhole before. But I think right now I'm just going to accept defeat and try again tomorrow.
It's been 84 years.
Just kidding. It's been 3 days. But I'm back with a fresh pair of eyes, blood no longer boiling, and ready to take on this challenge. I decided to give hand stitching the buttonholes a go, and while my skills are highly debatable, I managed to stitch around those pesky holes. It's far from perfect, but good enough. Lesson learned. Moving on. It was time to take on a new challenge, sewing my first pocket onto the pants. Trying to understand these instructions is like trying to crack the Da Vinci Code, but I finally took a stab at it and somehow made it happen. My first pocket. I continued along my merry way and moved on to turning the pant legs into actual wearable pants. My first attempt was laughable. I gave myself way too much seam allowance and ended up with very tight pants, so I unpicked those stitches and re-sewed very close to the edge. I won't bore you with lengthy footage of me sitting at the sewing machine, so let's cut to me shaking my booty in excitement because I actually did a thing. After finally finishing the pants, I moved on to sewing the waistband to the top part of the overalls. Made a minor mistake, unpicked the stitches, tried again. Realised I'd made a major mistake, envisioned throwing the project in the bin and then unpicked some more stitches. Finally got it done, then realised it wasn't long enough to fit the pants, so unpicked all the stitches again. I've spent as much time unpicking stitches as I've spent sewing them. So many mistakes have been made, so many lessons learned and probably already forgotten. I recut the waistband with some added length and prayed to the sewing gods it would work this time because if it didn't, I really was going to throw this project in the bin. Thank the lordy for that. It's long enough. I then wasted several precious minutes trying to pin the pants between the waistband and the waistband lining before my darling hubby made me realise I was meant to pin it like this. It was at this point I felt as though I may never finish this project. So I gave myself a break and proceeded to lay horizontally on the couch for the rest of the evening. The next day, however, with Rob Schneider's "You can do it!" piece of advice in mind, I managed to make something that actually looks like overalls. Finally, I was on to the last step in this process, the straps. You would think these would be one of the easiest parts to sew, but believe it or not, I managed to make them vary in width, and I still can't sew a straight line. At least they're the same length, right? And just like that, it is time for the final reveal. Okay, I am so relieved that this project is finally finished. It has taken me way longer than I anticipated. I hoped that I'd be finished with this a couple of weeks ago, but it is what it is. Looking back at the final reveal footage and just having the clothes on in general, I'm not 100% sold on whether this is the right choice or not. I don't really feel comfortable in them, and that might just be my sewing skills. Actually, it probably is just my sewing skills. I feel like the overalls kind of make me look a little bit frumpy. I don't know, there's just something that's not really fitting right for me. Either way, I am going to shoot the concept with the overalls on, and I think I'm going to shoot at the same time with another outfit on, like maybe a dress or something, just to be able to compare the two and see what would suit me better. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think I made the right choice? Or do you think that I should maybe try something else like a dress? The next video coming to you, part 3, is going to be behind the scenes of me shooting the first image for this series. But for now, my friends, I must say goodbye. I will see you in the next video. Mwah! See ya!